Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Natalya Leahy, who is the president of Seabourn. And we're absolutely delighted to be speaking to you today. Natalya, how are you?
I'm very well, Lucy, and I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's been a long time coming because you've actually been in the role 5 months or so. And I know you were in the UK and you met my colleagues, but this is a chance, I think, for you to talk about the first few months in this new job and what you found and what your plans are for the future. But let's just get to know you first of all, because you're not brand new to the company, are you? You were at the sort of Holland America group for a while. So just tell us a little bit about your rise to fame into this position.
Oh, well, thank you, Lucy. It's been a fantastic 5 months. And like I tell everyone, this is the best job anyone can ever have because it's a fantastic, amazing, most wonderful brand. I really think it's a jewel of a cruise industry in general and jewel of our corporation. And I had a chance, like you mentioned, I have supported Seabourn in various different capacities over the last 7 or so years within Carnival Corporation. I started as a CFO on Seabourn, actually, and then supported Seabourn during the restart of operation in the capacity of COO, along with a couple other brands, and now have had a chance to take a helm of this brand, and very, very excited. And prior to joining Carnival Corporation, I had a privilege to work for a number of world-known brands and companies like Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola and Clorox Company and United Nations, which was fantastic experience. I am originally from Uzbekistan, and that's an accent you hear. So it's a small country in Central Asia, and it's actually one of the two places in the world that is double land blocked. So when I was growing up, one of my dreams was to see the ocean. And I only had a chance to do it when I was grown up. But as they say, be aware of your dreams, they may come true.
Oh, that is such a lovely story. And now look at you running a cruise line, which is so dependent on the ocean, of course. So that is a lovely, lovely story. And now what do they think of you back in Uzbekistan? Are they proud of you for getting into this position?
Well, it's been quite a journey, right? And like we all think back, I could have never imagined that I'll be here today with this wonderful brand and representing over 4,000 people. But that's what makes Seabourn very unique. We do have people from over 94 countries in the world, and we bring really best of the best and give them opportunities to succeed. And I look at my shoreside leadership team, and many of our leaders started on board our ships. So I could not have imagined that I'll be here today. I certainly hope that many of my family members and mentors and friends are cheering me on the sides and supporting me, and but they played a huge role in where I am today, because we all meet people, interact with people, learn from people, and take advantage of the situations. And that really one step leads to another, and we end up where we end up with.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about the brand in detail. Just launched another ship. So Pursuit is now sailing. So that's exciting. And she follows hot on the heels of Venture, of course. So these are your two new expedition ships. So perhaps we'll start there, but then we mustn't forget the classic ships either. So just talk to us about the new focus on expedition and these fantastic new vessels.
Well, incredibly proud of the launch of Pursuit, and both of the ships, her sister ship Venture, I actually sailed on Venture just a couple months ago, and I was visiting Venture when she visited UK market first time last May, and we had a chance to host a number of travel partners and guests on board the ship. These are two game-changing ships. They're very, very special for me as well, because I remember over 6 years ago, we started working on those ships with Robin and Gerald and a number of other people. And it all started from a small Excel spreadsheet. And now for me to be taking delivery of Pursuit as a president of the brand is very special. And our dream at the time was to really change the game and create the ships that could take people, our guests, who are truly extraordinary individuals and looking for out of ordinary experiences. And our ambition was to take them deeper and closer to the most remote places in the world, but without compromising on Seabourn well-known ultra luxury and comfort and really intuitive, personalized, authentic, warm service. And I am very proud because I really think we achieved these dreams. I am overwhelmed with letters from Pursuit guests now. She is in Mediterranean and have been doing few cruises there. She's full and guests are delighted. And I was looking at the scores. We were rewarded by some of the top-notch scores by the guests on her first voyages. So while I'm not surprised, I'm incredibly delighted, proud of our team. As you know, it's not easy to launch a new ship, and that was certainly a huge success for all of ours.
And where does she go on to? Because obviously the Mediterranean isn't, your archetypal expedition area. So where does she go on to?
Well, she's heading, actually right now, starting to make her way to Miami, and that will be the first time she and her sister, Seabourn Venture, will be visiting North America and US market. And on September 29th, Seabourn Pursuit will be in Miami and Seabourn Venture will be in Seattle. So
Okay.
we will be hosting two big events, as we call TOS and POS costs. And hopefully it will give an opportunity to many of our North American partners and guests to visit these ships and media as well. And then from there, she will head through Amazon and to Antarctica. And both ships will be in Antarctica this year. And we are very, very excited because that's obviously one of the most known bucket list destinations. So it will be fantastic to have double capacity there and give even more guests opportunity to visit Antarctica on our ship.
And is that and the polar regions and then the Amazon and maybe Galapagos, is that the sort of where you're going to be sailing with this expedition fleet?
Well, we are going to be covering, of course, both poles. So Venture is kind of really focusing on Antarctica during our winter, which is their summer, and then doing Arctic, Greenland and Iceland during the summer. So that's one of the cruises I've done, and it was out of this world experience. But we are very excited because with the launch of Pursuit, we're sort of exploring now a warm water expeditions because she's gonna head to Kimberley's and South Pacific for the summer. In fact, we're gonna have our inaugural cruise in Kimberley's, and that's really some of the most unique remote destinations in the world. And not only you have an opportunity to see incredible wonders of the nature, such as horizontal waterfalls and big red rock formations and incredible underwater world, but you also have an opportunity in that world to experience human culture and really some of the unique places and celebrations of culture and art and history. And we are very excited about some of the South Pacific destinations.
Now, Natalya, are you attracting a new customer with these expedition cruises, or is it, your traditional loyal guests that are now thinking, okay, I've done a Seabourn, I love Seabourn, but I'm going to now try these expedition cruises, or are you actually getting to new people completely?
Well, we are, of course, and that was one of the ambitions. However, I will tell you, I am incredibly delighted because I was just looking at numbers, and about half of our guests on expedition ships this year have been our loyal guests, and about half of them are new to brand, and we highly anticipate that many of them are actually new to the industry. And because these ships take people to really bucket list destinations, aren't they? And so many
So they're not
people,
even cruisers. They're not cruisers, but they
right.
just
So we do
like,
find many people try cruising for the first time through these expedition ships because they want to go to Arctic or Antarctica.
yeah,
Then they go and they experience this amazing, wonderful Seabourn signature service and life on board, and then they book many ocean cruises as well. So we do find that this is a great gate for cruise industry, for our brand, to bring new guests to our brand and to cruising in general. However, I'm also very pleased to see that equally the product is very liked by our loyal guests. So expedition product have been a top scoring product last year. And again, when I looked at the scores, both our loyal guests and new to brand are scoring them equally
yeah.
high.
So with that in mind, is there a plan to grow expedition, your fleet and your program further? Is that where you see the most potential?
Well, I'm very pleased, Lucy, with the size of our fleet right now. So as you know, Odyssey is doing her farewell year with us, and she's going to be leaving in September 24. And then we really will have 2 ships in kind of each class of fleet, and it's Sojourn and Quest, and then Ovation and Encore, and then we have 2 expedition ships. So as of now, I'm very pleased. I think we really cover the best of the best. We cover the world. We'll be sailing to 7 continents, over 400 ports, and giving people this variety of experiences. For me, the focus will be to truly continue to deliver that ultra luxury, very authentic, bespoke experience to our guests, and focus on delivering this exceptional service and exceptional experiences, and taking them to destinations that really only few can visit in a lifetime. Yeah. That's true for our ocean fleet, as you well know. Our ocean fleet ships go to well-known ports in the world, but then they go to very small marquee destinations that other ships cannot get to, and really you can't even get there by airplane without spending days and days, and our guests get to visit those places.
Okay, so let's just talk about the ocean fleet then, because you mentioned them like 2 in each category. So explain to us the differences between the Encore class, and then I guess it's called the Odyssey class. So you've got Quest and Sojourn in that class, and then you've got Ovation and Encore. So why do you have them? Why do you sort of think of them in 2 separate classes then, and what do they do, or why are they so different, and do they go to different places? I know they're different, slightly different size.
They're slightly different size. They're both classes are capable of going to different destinations, and we do change that, and we actually like to sometimes change it up and give people an opportunity to experience different ships and in different destinations. They are different in the size. As you know, Sojourn and Quest are 450 passengers, and our Encore and Ovation 650 passengers, and expedition ships, our smaller ships, 204 passengers maximum. All of our ships are known by being more of intimate yacht-like atmosphere and experience, and that's what we really try to create. Encore and Ovation are a bit more spacious. Sojourn and Quest are have this classic touch of intimacy, of well-known Seabourn atmosphere. Both of Sojourn and Quest, we are making some capital investment and changes and introducing new experiences such as we just actually last week launched sushi in the club on board Quest, and we're doing it in Odyssey now, and Sojourn will follow. So by the end of the year, we will have sushi on all of our ships.
Great.
We started sushi as a separate restaurant venue on Encore Innovation because the space that they allow us to really have a separate dedicated restaurant. It's been incredibly popular, and based on the voice of our guests, we tried to do sushi in a club on Venture, which became very, very popular. So not only we repeated it on Pursuit, we're now rolling it out across all the fleet.
Okay, so that's a new addition. Okay, so that's so it's really the size, I guess, that really differentiates them. It's just interesting that you see them in 3 different categories. So that, and what you're saying is you're now happy with your level of capacity. You don't have any further ships either for the classic or the expedition fleets on order then, or plans?
Not right now, no, not right
Okay.
now.
All right. And that would be the only way you would grow now, would it be through new builds rather than acquiring any ships?
Well, if we decide to grow capacity, I think most likely we'll be doing it through new builds.
Yeah.
However, again, I think the growth potential now is not necessarily in growing capacity, it's in optimizing capacity we have through providing exceptional destination experiences and onboard experiences to our guests, and that will be the focus.
And I know you say you've got your capacity right, but what's your view on the industry in general? I mean, there's been a lot of new entrants into the expedition cruising market, for example, either existing cruise lines launching an expedition side of their business or just brand new expedition lines. So how do you think the industry is set in terms of the amount of capacity that there is? Do you think it's about right, or do you think there's too much? Because a lot of it has suddenly come quite quickly after COVID.
Well, listen, I think, Lucy, the reason there is so many new entrants is because there is a tremendous growth potential in this ultra luxury market. When you look at, there are 3-4 million individuals in UK alone that have 1 million net worth or more, and all of those are guests or potential guests for any of the ultra luxury hospitality experiences. And I think there is no better value to travel than on the cruise, as many of our guests and travel partners know. And therefore, to give more of these experiences to the market, the potential is just incredibly high. I am actually very excited about the new entrants, particularly from companies that are well known in a land ultra luxury vacations, because I think they really will help to communicate the value proposition of cruising in general to wider market of luxury travelers.
So are you talking like Four Seasons and
Yeah,
Ritz-Carlton?
like Ritz-Carlton. And I think that, then guests will have a choice to which cruise line fits them. But I really feel it helps to grow the market in general. So I'm excited, and I think there is incredible growth potential for everyone. Again, on Seabourn alone, just we only have less than 100,000 passengers sailing on our ships per year. And so if you think about, 3-4 million in UK market, that could be our guests. In US, it's 22 million people who could be our guests. So tremendous growth potential for all of ours.
It's still tiny, isn't it? As a proportion of the holiday or the vacation.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So with that in mind, Natalya, how are you going to reach these people that have got the net worth and they just need to understand that a cruise is for them? So what's your plan to reach those guests?
Well, first of all, Lucy, we in the ultra luxury space have a very high reliance on our travel partners. I often say, since I started in this role, that I view our travel partners as an extension of our leadership team. They're closest to our guests. They know guests, they know what they're looking for, and they also know our brand and are in the best position to communicate it. In ultra luxury space, our guests make decisions generally based on the advice of trusted partner or a consultant. And so one of the things that I'm very focused with our leadership team is really investing in close partnerships with our travel community, providing them the resources, providing them the materials and educational resources to really expand our brand awareness among their guests. Of course, we're investing, as you have mentioned before, I think the product like Expedition Ultra Luxury product is a gateway to cruising, really, to ultra luxury cruising for many new to cruise guests. So we will continue to innovate around the product and destinations we go to. Like I mentioned, South Pacific and Kimberley's is new for us, and I think is on the bucket list of many people besides pole to pole kind of experiences. And then, we really, like many others, trust our influencers, social media, and trusted advisors. I will tell you that our guests, our biggest ambassadors, so we have been really trying to elevate their voices as well, and you will see a lot more guest testimonials and both videos and quotes will be coming through, because we really believe, particularly in ultra luxury travel market, that advice from a fellow travelers carries big weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm interested in what you say about how you're going to focus on supporting agents more, because arguably you've done that for many years. Agents have always been very important to your distribution. So I guess the question is, how are you going to do that more? Are you going to put more investment in? Is the sort of material that you, or the support that you provide, going to be different? Are you going to be talking to a different set of agents as well as your existing ones? I just want to know how you're going to move that forward.
Well, we have, as you mentioned, we have continued, and travel advisors have always been a really foundation of our business. So for sure, we have invested a bit more in our marketing materials, education materials. We have invested in new forms of education. So, for example, we have started recently this ongoing webinar programs to educate our travel advisors and even their guests. We're doing direct to consumer about our expedition market and expedition ships and that product, because it is very unique and a bit more in depth, and people have more questions before they embark on these journeys. In terms of new travel advisors, with launching an expedition space, we are expanding our travel advisors community partnership to a lot more ultra luxury spaces where advisors focus traditionally on a land type
so
of.
previously you might have had lots of cruise specialists or
Exactly.
luxury, but now you need the broad spectrum of luxury.
And we often call our Antarctica expedition cruises as a safari at sea, right? That's really an expedition. And so there are travel communities that have been focusing on more like safaris, and that's really a target guest for expedition at sea as well.
Yeah. And just in terms of the UK market, Natalya, I mean, I imagine the US is your top market, but where does the UK sit? Has it changed at all? And, what are your plans? How important is it for you?
Well, UK market is incredibly important to us. It is the second largest market for Seabourn, and we are very focused on growing in UK. We believe that guests from UK market really appreciate our brand. They appreciate the culture of the brand, that very well known Seabourn signature service that is much more authentic, warm, individualized luxury. We really, UK market have been growing very, very fast for us, and we are very pleased about that. So we'll continue to build on this momentum. And I hope that with, again, expansion of our fleet, more destinations, new ships, that will continue that growth and partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think the cruise industry generally does a good enough job differentiating? Because we'll get a number of cruise lines saying they're ultra luxury and they do expedition. And do you think agents understand exactly what each line stands for and therefore who to sort of sell that particular line to in terms of their customer base? Or is there more to be done there?
I often get these questions now that I'm in this role. What does luxury mean for you? What does it mean? And it's such an individualized thing. And of course, all players in luxury and ultra luxury segments have some basics in place. Of course, we have culinary experiences that rivals best restaurants in the world, and we have wonderful ships and elegance and attention to details. What really differentiates brands is really how you feel on board, isn't it? And that's really small details and choices. And I do think it's an opportunity for us, for all of us, but certainly for Seabourn, is to educate both our travel advisors and guests and communicate. It's much harder to put in words the feeling. And that's a challenge for all of us. I tend to believe that the core differentiator for Seabourn brand is a type of highly intuitive, individualized, but also very warm, unpretentious, authentic service. What we promote in our service is really an individualism. We allow our team members to shine. We empower them to build that unique, one-of-a-kind connection with each guest. And so when I ask our guests why Seabourn, and they are well-traveled and experienced many wonderful brands, they would tell you that because it really feels like a family. It feels like home away from home, that they know not only their fellow travelers, but they know their crew members. And you watch when people disembark from Seabourn ship and you instantaneously see the difference, because there are a number of hugs and warm, and tears of happiness. And so I think that's what differentiates Seabourn, and we call it Seabourn Moments. You probably know that, but it's really that highly individualized, very one-of-a-kind approach, and it's really enabled by us empowering each of our team members to be their own self and create that connection with guests.
Which sounds amazing, but of course it's something very hard to translate to the trade and their customers without them experiencing it. And of course it's hard to get agents on fam trips, particularly down to the polar regions or some of these more remote places, and particularly when your ships aren't massive, so you don't have loads of space to sort of host fam trips. But so how do you translate that fantastic warmth and that unique service that you're talking about to make sure agents get it and can then pass that on to their customers?
Well, first of all, Lucy, we do love to get our agents on board our ships. I think that is, like you said, best way to experience. I hope we will get some agents to experience our expedition ships. We host a number of events when ships have a chance. As you know, when Venture was in UK, we hosted a large event, and we now will be hosting a number of events in North America markets. But this is why we do a lot more guest testimonials. It's exactly because of what you just said. No one can describe our product better rather than people who actually our guests who traveled on our ships. I just hosted an event about expedition webinar on expedition travelers, and we had 2 couples join, and in fact one couple was on board Venture apparently,
Oh, really?
sailing Northwest Passage. This is our first Northwest Passage. We are so proud. And we now, as you know, have a Starlink on both of our expedition ships, which also have been a recent investment in innovation. By the end of the year, we will have Starlink across all of our fleet, because again, as we bring guests on board and new guests and our loyal guests, they all want to really have a choice of how connected or disconnected they want to be. And many people now combine travel with some work engagements, and Starlink enables that. Back to the couple who joined us from Northwest Passage, they were the entire time we were on board in the middle of the ocean, and connectivity was fantastic. They had the video chat with the rest of webinar participants, and they've done such an amazing job really describing the product for what it is, and sharing some of their stories and some of their Seabourn moments and rituals they have on board the ships and connections they build. And it was interesting to see, because 2 couples have never met each other, but apparently they now have, within 5 minutes, they found they have like 3 common friends.
Oh, wow.
Common friends were sailing with another couple, and that's really unique, and it was very fun to watch, and that brings brand to life. And what we are about is bringing like-minded travelers together with like-minded crew members and creating that unique community.
Yeah. All right. Conscious of your time, Natalya, thank you so much for this. Can I just ask you what you're most excited about going forward? What have we got to look forward to that you think is a real opportunity? And also, what challenges that you see in the year ahead? Is there anything that you would advise agents need to be cautious of or aware of? Just from your perspective, what are the sort of the 2 things you're looking out for?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very excited about just continuing developing our expedition product. I'm very excited about various different innovations. We just launched Delight in the Details program, and that's really a program that covers a lot of small details of innovations across, from culinary business to spaces on the ships to our service and training programs, both shoreside and shipboard. But it also covers a much broader opportunities, such as providing more unique bespoke destination experiences. We created a dedicated now Seabourn Destinations department, and the focus will be expanding more of pre and post and destination experiences, land journeys, and giving that unique opportunities for people to have that experience when they're in the port. Challenges. Listen, I think that we operate in a global environment. Our ships sail to over 400 ports. So it continues to be a challenge to be agile and operate in ever-changing regulatory environments, and the pace of change have been faster than ever, right? So keeping up with that and being agile and enabling us to operate sufficiently. Supply chain have, as you know, and continues to be an area of innovation, as I call. We can't call it challenge because it is what it is, but we had to really rebuild our supply chain operations, and we used to be very global. We now are much more agile, and we're building a lot more local supply chain. And I think that will continue to be an area of innovation and opportunity for the upcoming year.
Yeah. Okay. And so your final message, though, to any agents watching this, Natalya, I mean, obviously ultra luxury and particularly expedition, they're good commission earning opportunities, aren't they? It's like something, would you say that this is an area that agents should really consider getting involved in?
Well, I really believe that expedition in ultra luxury space, and particularly expedition on board our Seabourn venture and Seabourn pursuit, open up a whole new cross opportunity for ultra luxury market, because our differentiator is that guests don't have to compromise anymore.
Yeah.
They can have that well-known Seabourn signature service that you're all very well familiar with, and they can go to destinations that up until recently have really been available only to explorers.
Right.
And I think Seabourn will continue to delight you all with small details and innovations. And I'm very confident about our future and very grateful for your partnership.
Oh, and when can we expect to see you next in the UK, Natalya? Are you coming back to see some of your agent partners, or?
I am. I think I'm actually planning a trip early December to UK, and Lynn is organizing number of meetings. So I hope to see you, Lucy, there in
Yes.
person, and
Well,
many of
you have your
Right.
legendary Christmas lunch, so it sounds like you might be coming over around that time, which is always a great event. And then obviously I know you're big supporters of Clear, and I believe you're coming back maybe next year as well around that kind of time to support some of the Clear events. So we will just welcome you and look forward to speaking to you again and hearing how you're getting on, and hope agents are getting really behind it.
Thank you, Lucy, and thank you, everyone. It's been such a pleasure to be here with you today.
All right. Thank you, Natalya. See you very soon.